Hey guys, today we're going to talk all about American Single Malt Whiskey.
So one of the rising trends in the whiskey world is the birth of the American Single Malt, and we're going to talk all about it today.
While single malt whiskeys have been around for centuries in Scotland and Ireland, probably even close to 1,000 years, it's pretty new here in the United States. We haven't had a whole lot of American single malt whiskeys up until very recently. And I'm really glad that it's taken off because I'm a huge fan of Scotch. And I think that this is a really cool way to bring in some of the traditions that created whiskey to begin with here into the United States.
Yeah, and in the whiskey world, it's always, what can I do next? Or what can I do better than what's out there already? And I think the next evolution in that is the American Single Malt. I think over the course of the next 10, 15 years, it's really gonna explode.
So the interesting thing about the American single malt whiskeys is that they have free reign for the most part. There are certain requirements for it to be an American single malt whiskey, but Scotland and Ireland both are steeped in history. They already have their way of doing things. They use 100% malted barley. They either use sherry cask or ex-bourbon casks for the most part. But here, there's free reign. There's still a whole lot that you could do with the single malt whiskeys and still be considered a single malt whiskey.
So there's actually a whole committee that's been charged with defining what is an American Single Malt. It's gotta be 100% malted barley. It's gotta be distilled all at the same distillery in barrels that are no bigger than 700 liters. And it's got to be distilled at no more than 160 proof and barreled at no less than 80 proof.
Yeah, so it still has its parameters.
Yep.
But there's still so much more you could do with
exactly.
it. Right?
There's, like you said, there's a lot more free reign to do with it afterwards too.
Right. This commission really got started, what it was, 2016, I want to say, right?
Yeah, yep.
So it is still pretty new. Like, it's not something that has been around for ages. And for all those Texas people out there, like we are, Balcones, which is a Texas distillery not too far from here, is actually one of the founding members of this commission.
Yeah, so they help define what is an American Single Malt.
Up until maybe, 10 years ago or so, we had about 4 or 5 distilleries that were doing single malt whiskeys. And now they have just blown up. Now we have around 200 distilleries that are working on single malt whiskeys. And it is the fastest growing whiskey in the world right now. It's American single malt whiskey.
Yeah.
America, America.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna introduce you to 6 of the distilleries that are making American Single Malts, and we're gonna taste them right here. Many of them for the first time.
I can't wait. I'm stoked.
Yeah?
So I got my start in drinking whiskey with Scotch. So I've always had that love for single malt whiskeys. So I'm very excited to see what the good old US of A could do with that tradition.
Yep. So up first is the very first American Single Malt ever made.
And that is McCarthy's Oregon Single Malt Whiskey.
See, you said it right. You said Oregon.
I did say Oregon.
A lot of people tell me it's Oregon. But you know what? I don't care. It's Oregon.
I have a hard time saying Oregon. Oregon. So I'm just gonna say Oregon. And if you don't like it, shove it. All right, so we got some baby pours because we're gonna go through 6 bottles here. And I have a feeling that if we do full 1 ounce or 2 ounce pours of these things, we're gonna be on the floor by the time we're done with this video.
Yeah, you don't even know what we're saying by the end. So.
No. I hardly know what I'm saying, even when I'm not drinking. So
what?
This is just gonna be, yep, see?
What?
Yep.
Well,
You sound like my kids.
So the interesting thing about some of these American Single Malts is like this one, for instance, is peated. And while some of them use local barley, this one is actually imported from Scotland.
So it's also been barrel aged for 3 years. So it doesn't have a whole lot of age to it.
Right.
But because of the weather in Oregon, or Oregon, or
Whatever you want to say. I don't care.
Because of the weather there, you don't need to have it aged for too long because the weather affects clearly the way that it ages.
So yeah, right off the bat, you're getting that smoky, peaty
You do.
scent right away.
Yeah, you get the peat right away.
What else are you getting in this one?
So I get fruit. I get like dark cherry on this.
Yeah.
I get that dark cherry chocolate with that smoke.
Yeah.
You know, like campfire. You get s'mores almost.
You know, if you were to put that head to head with an Islay Scotch, I might not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, it feels like an Islay Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that don't know what Islay Scotch is, Islay is a specific area or region in Scotland that makes their whiskey very peated, very smoky, very medicinal. And that's because they burn the peat to give it that flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the peat and the moss that grows in that area is so close to the coast and the water and everything, you get a lot of saltiness and brininess from it. You get that medicinal notes,
Yep.
you know, almost like seaweed
Yep.
type of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're going to get from an Islay Scotch. So with the McCarthy, you're getting a lot of the similar notes here with this one. You are getting that peat, that salt. You're getting campfire.
This was a great start to the American Single Malts, and also the McCarthy's has just continued to rack up the awards year after year. It's won double gold a couple times in New York. So it's definitely worthwhile if you're looking to get into American Single Malts and if you like peated Scotch. So second on our list, we have Westland, which is based in Washington State near Seattle.
So I'm really excited to try Westland with you guys. This is my first time trying this one. It's made from a bunch of different malts that they use to malt the barley and a bunch of different casks. So I fully expect all the flavor profiles of this thing to just hit me in the face.
It's gonna be wild.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be off the charts.
It has like 5 different malts and like 5 or 6 different types of barrels.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be awesome. Like ex-bourbon barrels, ex-sherry barrels.
Ex-girlfriend barrels.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh man. Actually, for all the flavor and all the malt and all the barrels, this is surprisingly light.
Yeah. So I'm getting a little bit of earthiness in this.
To me, everything is subtle. I mean, I think that out of all of them, I think that earthiness is probably the best option to throw out there.
If you look on Westland's website, you'll see all the grains that go into this, all the malts. And they have chocolate malt, they have heavily peated malt. I'm not really getting that in the nose.
Not on the nose, yeah. I don't know what I'm getting here. I mean, I'm getting a lot of the earth. I think that out of all of these like flavor profiles that you could get on the nose, I get, you know, earthiness, dirt, you know, that type of deal. But I'm not getting a lot of like fruit or chocolate or malt or any of that.
Nope. There's only one thing to do now is to try it.
I guess so. This is about that time. Let's do it.
Okay. So I do get a little bit of peat.
Yeah.
On the taste, not as much as what we just had in the McCarthy's. I get a little bit of honey on the taste as well, and you can tell in the glass here it's a little bit thick. The way it runs down, the legs run down the glass there. It's a little bit thicker.
Right. Yeah. The viscosity on this is a little bit more.
That's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
Well done, buddy.
I could say viscosity pretty well. Oregon.
Not so much.
No, not at all. Not even a little.
Yeah, we're gonna get roasted for that. And I don't care. So the longer it sits for me, I'm actually getting a little bit of strawberry note on the back end there.
So you know, you mentioned the honey. I did not get honey at first until it lingered for a while. So the finish is pretty long and it transforms. And I love whiskeys that do that. So I got a lot of the peatiness. And when I say a lot, that was more overpowering, but it wasn't very heavy. It didn't feel like a peated Scotch.
Right.
It felt like it had hints of peat.
Yep.
But that was pretty much it. I got those earthy tones. I did get some fruit notes, but really as it lingered, I got a lot more of that honey.
Overall, this was good. I think I like the McCarthy's a little better.
Yeah, if you like peat,
Yeah.
I definitely would say that the McCarthy is the way to go because peat is such a contentious thing. I would say that this is a safer choice, and I think that this one is a very good one as well. Third on our list is High West High Country.
Out of Park City, Utah. Now we're moving into the mountains. So one kind of cool thing, actually two kind of cool things about High West is it's the first legal distillery in the entire state of Utah since 1870.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's the world's only ski-in gastro distillery.
Gastro.
Yeah, it's a lot of hipster words all in a row. Kind of blew my mind. But the fact that you can ski up to this place is awesome.
But what does the gastro mean?
Food.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, so you can eat there too?
You can eat there too.
Okay, so it's not like it gives you like stomach problems if you go there.
No, you don't need Pepto-Bismol after.
I hope not, because
Well-
we're about to drink this. We're doing this for you to make sure you don't get sick, so we're gonna get sick instead.
Okay. That's interesting. So I'm getting like definitely the grains in there, but I also got, interestingly, some caramel.
You know what really stood out to me was like honeydew.
No, I do.
You got it too?
I get the honeydew melon.
I got honeydew.
Holy crap.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, it just punches me right in the face now.
I get pure honeydew with this thing. That's
Wow.
what I get.
Okay. That's nice.
It's very nice. Very approachable.
Yeah. I'm getting some bananas on that.
I get a little bit of that honeydew, but more salt. I get a lot of salt actually, with a lingering taste of honeydew, and some honey in there.
I'm getting a little bit of dessert on the back end, sort of like a bananas Foster, to be honest.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got banana Foster. I got salty honeydew.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Did you know that everybody's palate is different, just like your fingerprint? Everybody has a unique one, so that's why we're getting two different things.
For number 4, we've got Stranahan's Blue Peak, out of Colorado.
Perfect, because I had no idea.
Oh, the Sunshine State. On Denver. Gorgeous.
This is aged at high altitude, obviously being in Denver.
I wonder how that affects the flavor profile. One thing that I saw in the notes of this bottle is that they have a number 3 char, which is interesting that they even mentioned that because a lot of people don't. What I love about them saying that is that it gives us a chance to kind of explore a little bit of the barrel and the char in the barrel. So there's 4 levels of char in the barrel generally, and number 3 is considered kind of like a medium to high char. Number 4 is the most char you could get, and the char level plays a significant role in the flavor of the whiskey because the more char it has, the sweeter and the more caramelly notes that it's generally gonna get.
I'm definitely getting the caramel note.
Right?
Yeah. I'm getting some like red apples in there too.
Yeah, I do get a lot of oak up front. The first thing I got is oak. It's a very oaky whiskey.
So I was smelling red apples, but I'm getting more like pear, apricot type on the finish.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
it's very fruity. You do get a lot of fruit, and it has a little bit of kick to it too. So it does have some pepper. I feel like there's some pepper in there along with the fruit notes. But I do get a lot, especially in the finish. Now that it's sitting in there for a little bit, I'm getting a whole lot of fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of cherry cola on the back.
Yeah, I could see that cherry cola.
That's nice. Well done.
Good job, Colorado. You did it.
Yeah.
You made yourself a fine whiskey.
Yeah. No, this has been one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, from these, I think that this is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
This is very good.
All right, you ready for number 5?
I was so born ready. But are you talking to me or them?
Whoever wants to answer me would be lovely. And yes, it's you because they can't answer me right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I am ready, Ryan. Hit me with the sweet stuff.
All right, next from North Carolina, we have Bear Fight. And you know what? I'm going to bring this in a little bit so you can see the bottle because that's a badass bottle.
Yeah.
You can see the shreds the bear's taken out of here too. You see that?
Look at that. That's
Yeah.
a very angry bear.
Beautiful.
It's like that cocaine bear.
So one of the cool things about Bear Fight is they use 3 different barrels, including sherry barrels and peated barrels. Now, peated barrels, you're like, what the hell's a peated barrel? It previously had a peated scotch in it, and they're using the barrel that it was aged in to age this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just like the sherry affects the flavor profile, so will the peat.
Yeah.
And because the peat is so strong and pungent, I really do feel like this is gonna take some of that on without it being overpowering because it's not
Right.
a peated whiskey. So I'm really excited to try this. This
Yeah.
sounds like a very complex and very different and unique way of making whiskey.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
See, it's so interesting because now that you mentioned the way that it was aged, I get a lot of the sweetness from the sherry cask, but I get some of that peat from that peated cask. So again, it goes to show you how much the barrel plays a significant role in the aging process of the whiskey.
Yeah, now that's a very interesting combination because not only do you get some of the peatiness, you get I get some of the earthiness of it too. That's a very interesting combination.
Nothing overpowers you. You don't get too much of the peat. You don't get too much of that sherry.
Yeah.
You don't get too much of anything, but you do get a lot of these different smells.
Yeah, it's a nice balance.
Yeah.
That is super complex.
Yeah.
That is really, really nice. So you get some of the peated taste on it, but it's not overpowering.
It's not. Yeah.
And it mixes in very nicely with. I'm getting the notes of the sherry cask too. Some strawberry or red fruit in there as well.
Yeah, I get like up front, I get the chocolate malt flavor to me, like full on chocolate malt, and then as it lingers, you do get some of that sherry. You get almost like red wine finish or berries, like you mentioned, like dark cherry. The finish is not as long, but what you get quickly, and you get it in your face. I think this is a really, really good complex whiskey.
Yeah. You know, up until a couple months ago, I had never even heard of this brand before. But you get to talking to some of these people that work at the liquor stores in your local area, and sometimes they have excellent recommendations. This happened to be one of them. I would have never even considered buying this one if it didn't come from the recommendation of somebody at a local liquor store.
So this was a great recommendation. I really enjoyed this a lot. I've never even heard of Bear Fight before.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome stuff.
So North Carolina doing great things with American Single Malts.
Thank you, North Carolina.
Hey.
Are we ready for the final one? The final American Single Malt Whiskey that we're going to try today.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah, and this one for me is exciting.
Oh, why for you?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh.
So for our final American Single Malt today, it comes from the Virginia Distilling Company, and it's called Courage and Conviction.
I love the name.
So just last year, in 2023, this won Whiskey of the Year for the London Spirits competition.
Wow, look at that.
Yep.
Ironically, Courage and Conviction is going to be our tag team name if we ever become a wrestler and this doesn't work out for us.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're going to be Courage, and I'm going to be Conviction.
Okay.
By the way, there's a lot of whiskey channels out there of people covering some stuff like this. Let me tell you something. Very few people are willing to try 6 different whiskeys just for you, to let you know which one's worth trying and not. This is, we're taking one for the team. By the time that we're done with this video, we're gonna be on our floors.
How many floors do we have?
That's the point. I've drank too many whiskeys to even make sense anymore.
Drink responsibly.
Yes.
You heard that here. Okay?
Yes, you did. Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Oh, that's strong. Get a little bit of butterscotch there.
Yeah. I was gonna say toffee. The butterscotch is right around the same nose.
I'm definitely getting some of the grains in there too.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going with the toffee. Is that, toffee tends to have a lot of sweetness and a little bit of saltiness, and I think that's what I'm kind of getting with this one.
Gotcha. So that one, to me, I got some red wine in there. Even though it's not aged in any kind of red wine cask or anything, but I got some of that taste to it.
So for me, I could see where you got that, because I got like a splash. That sounds weird. But I got a splash of like that sort of red berries flavor.
Yeah.
Very early on.
Yeah.
And then it immediately switched to like marshmallow and like chocolate malt.
Yeah.
Like full on chocolate malt, to the point that I feel like I'm trying a chocolate s'mores right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So some of the whiskeys that we try, they linger for a long time. This one hit very quick.
Yeah.
Like right away. You get all those flavors happening all at once.
Right.
There's not much of a long finish on this one, but it's very good.
Yeah, like it transformed very quickly in the mouth. So when you say a long finish or a short finish, that's what that means. It's just like that lingering flavor in your mouth. Like, what does it do? And this one, it's short because it's just kind of like quick and easy. Here it is, but it transforms very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like it's caramel and that's it.
Yep.
It's you get this fruitiness up front, and then very quickly it transforms to like the chocolate malt and s'mores type flavor.
Yeah, lots happening all at once.
Yeah.
That was nice though. I liked it.
All right, so Ryan, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Out of these 6 that we tried,
Okay.
which one is your favorite one?
I think I got a tie
Okay.
for first.
All right.
For me, it was a tie between the Stranahans from Denver, Colorado, and the Bear Fight from North Carolina.
Those are good options. Those were very good options. I will say that for me, my favorite one was the Bear Fight.
Yeah?
Bear Fight #1.
Nice.
Yeah. The Stranahan to me was delicious too. I would say that was a very close second.
Yeah.
So you and I are both on the same page when it comes to the whiskeys. But I do have a more clear winner, I would say, and that's the Bear Fight for me.
Yeah. Now that we've tried some of these American single malts and we know that there's tons more out there, what are you kind of seeing as opportunities for market growth moving forward?
Well, the fact that these whiskeys, the single malt whiskeys in the United States, have grown from 9 distilleries all the way to 200, which is where we are at right now. It goes to show you that people are buying single malt whiskeys from the United States. I attribute that to the growth of Scotch in the early 2000s. Obviously, United States, being innovators as we are, they looked at that and said, well, we could do this too. There's no reason why we can't do this. There's no law that says that we cannot make single malt whiskeys. And obviously McCarthy, which we tried today, they tried to do that, and that just blew up. It just became a thing where you saw single malt whiskeys growing in the United States more and more. Because here's the thing, if they would have failed and nobody was buying these single malt whiskeys, you wouldn't see all these other distilleries try to follow suit. So the fact that they did shows you that people are buying these American single malt whiskeys.
Yep.
So I definitely think that single malts in the United States is just on a trend to just keep going up.
So one of the challenges that I see is, earlier we had talked about the American Single Malt Whiskey Committee and what their definition is of a single malt. Now that hasn't been officially ratified yet. So until that gets ratified, I think you're going to see some distilleries hold out and wait for that. But as soon as it does get ratified as its own unique brand, then I think you're going to see an explosion. Right now we have 200 or so distilleries. I think that's going to go to 500 or more distilleries that want to work on this. And you're going to see some of the bigger name brands start exploring American single malts as well.
Right. You do see some companies like Woodford Reserve has a single malt now. So you're starting to see some of the bigger distilleries explore the possibility of single malts.
Right.
So it's starting to happen. As you saw with this tasting, there's so many different ways to make single malts. All of these were absolutely unique.
Yeah.
They were all very different. And that's the kind of stuff that you're going to get from American single malt whiskey.
I think American single malts on a trajectory is just going to go like that over the next decade or so. As regulations start to fall in place and distilleries start to get on board, I think we're going to see a proliferation of American single malts. And as long as trade agreements and tariffs remain in place with other countries, then we'll see it on a global scale as well.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining in with us on this exploration of American single malts. What's your favorite American single malt? Do you have one? If you haven't tried it before, definitely give it a shot and then let us know which one's your favorite. And if you have tried it before, then let us know which one's your favorite. In the meantime, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will join you in the next one.
All right, until next time, cheers.
Cheers.